So this is one of the signed indicator lenses off my Astra. It's an Astra H, also sometimes referred to as a Mark V. Now the plastic lens has come away, so I'm just going to repair this by gluing it up or using some sealant, some clear sealant to bond it back on. Because unfortunately when it's snapped onto the side of the car, the pressure does tend to end up on the lens itself rather than the plastic, the black plastic housing, so over time it can come away, the bond can break, and with this one what's happened is it's started to steam up quite a bit. Now to get these off, if it's not already just sort of fallen off, what you have to do is push it from the right hand side towards the left, and then this side should be able to sort of lever out, but you've got to get it pushed over far enough, but obviously you don't want to overdo it because you don't want to break the clip. So there's this springy clip here on the left hand side, and as you push the right, that gives and allows this to slide over just a small amount, and what that allows is this little clip on the right here to then escape from the metalwork, and then you can lift it up and away from that metalwork. And to get it back in, you would just basically push that side in first to get that into the metalwork, and then press the other side in the left hand side, and it will just clip into place with this springy clip here, so that will just then latch against the bodywork. Now what you don't want to do with this particular one is what I did, and that is to try and lever it up from this left hand side, because it can damage this clip here, and I did actually bend this, and I've had to bend it back a bit to get the spring in it, but if you overdo it there's a potential to actually break that off altogether, and then it won't stay on the car properly. So what I've done is get some of this stuff, which is usually pretty good, brilliant name, and I've got some of that in a syringe, so I've used that to inject into a syringe to get more control, because trying to do something small with one of these sort of silicone guns is a nightmare. I've already done one, and I'm just going to basically put a bead around this lip here. There's like a double lip on this, and then fit that to there. Just try not to get too much in. See how we go. I put a little bit more on the last one than I wanted to, but try and get a little bit less on this, because if you put too much in, it squidges all everywhere. If it squidges out from, if it squidges to the outside, I'm not so bothered, because I can wipe that off. But what I don't want is a massive load of it on the inside of this lens. Nothing. Try to avoid getting this on this mat. And it's just a case of pushing these together. Start at one end, try and prevent any air getting trapped. And you can see then from the inside then where it's gone. Maybe I'll see along that edge. Changes in it. Rather than just squeezing it right down, I'm just sort of gently squeezing it a little bit, just to try and work any air out, because there's definitely some air bubbles. There's one down there. That one I would have said could perhaps have done with a little bit more there. As long as there's enough around to seal it. Yeah, it's definitely plenty elsewhere. It's just that bit there. I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze any more in down here. Probably not, but we'll give it a go. Oh yeah, it's working its way in. Do the same here as well. I'll just wipe this with the tissue. Yeah, it's not going to look as good as it did when it was new, but it's going to look a lot better than it did when it was all steamed up, because I'd noticed these had started to steam up, and it's because there's clearly the seal had broken. So yeah, so we'll leave that a few hours and then see how that works out. It's been a few months since I did that, and this is one of the ones that was on. I've just took it off to have a bit of a look. There's been no steaming up on this. It just mists up because you get condensation form inside when there's gaps. It's not come unstuck in any way. So yeah, still going strong. So that's good, because it saved about 15-20 quid to replace these at least. So yeah, quite pleased with that. You could use silicone as well. The problem with the silicone is I find silicone can come away, which in some instances is a good thing if you think you might want to be able to remove something further down the line. But I wanted this to be permanent, so I always find that the acrylic sealants are much better for permanent things, because it's just a nightmare to get off once it's set. So it's ideal for something like this.